complicated centers if we choose to make them. So, right, I've got these beautiful buttons here, and they go just about perfectly with the center of my gardenia. So I've got the blue shading in the center. I have this smaller powder blue button, and well, it's a little bit too small for the center. So what I decided to do, I'm just gonna layer my buttons, and I'm gonna pop a beautiful gray first. That way that will give me a lovely raised effect, and I can now squeeze all my petals against that center, that button. Okay, and then now I'm just gonna pop the lovely blue. So that's rather nice. Okay, it's a lovely one. And now I have a matching flower with my script, Blissful Script card collection. If you remember, this is the simpler flower with only 2 layers. So that's a really nice one. So these two make a beautiful and perfect combination together. Right, let's just move on to these 2 stunning ones. Now, I have 2 lovely buttons. Okay, I will be using 2 different types. I like to have different centers for my arrangement, because I think that also gives you that super interesting factor with your floral arrangements. All right, so that's the darker one, and I've chosen the darker one for my larger one because it's more bold, so it will definitely pop more as it's bigger. So you can see these 2 work beautifully well together. Okay, stunning. Right, so then we can move on to another simple option. I have this lovely pearl, which is just pearly outside of my little flower. So I'm gonna have a little hole right in the center. That's not a problem at all, because with this beautiful center, I'll just pop, and that will be sitting on top of my pearl ring. With this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a small hole. I'm just going to enlarge. As you know, we can pop all sorts of stamens through the centers of our flowers, and that is obviously amazing and goes without saying. Now we have these beautiful berry centers on our website. They come in different shades, and I'm just literally going to run through of them. In the center, I'm just enlarging that little hole. And popping that in. Right, so I have this little beautiful daisy now. Now, how do we attach the back? Well, several ways. I'm going to show you one really simple and practical. And if you do purchase our presentation boxes, you will know that you will get 2 circles from each box, from the top part of the box. I'm pretty sure I already showed you one or two ideas what to do with them circles. But in this case, we're just literally going to secure our ends. Just hold it in place for a little bit longer. There you go. 2 pink gardenia flowers. So that's another option. And talking about our waist, so these are the circles which I've just mentioned, and they are really handy and practical. So I'm going to take one of them. They do actually, they are die cut. So all you have to do is just push them out. You can snip out these 2 little notches. And of course, we can do a little bit of embossing. So there you go. And I'm going to need one of them for another center. So first the large ball, and then the smaller ball. So we just literally working and giving ourselves a little sort of raised shell. Okay, really nice. So what I'm going to do first is pop a little 3D pad in the center. Sometimes, depending on the dimension of your 3D pad, it's worth adding another little piece as well. But at this point, I'm just going to keep it with the double, with the backing at the back. So this is my white center, which is beautiful anyway. But because I'm going to be decorating my blue flowers now, I will change the color slightly. And I will be working with blues, whites, and silvers. So what I'm going to do first of all, I mean, there's so many different ways you can do. If we just go back to our ink pad, we can obviously ink up this center blue. Now, one other thing we can also add to already inked up center, or anything for that matter, is an ink, well, some sort of wax. If you have waxes, brilliant, because they really are handy for very quick sort of transformation. I've got a gold one here and different shade. I'm looking for a silver one, and I was going to use the Viva Decor, but I'm going to use different wax altogether. It doesn't really matter, as long as you create a little bit of shading. And that's what I want. I want the dark black background and obviously a little bit of silver on top. And that's all I have. All I'm going to do is add some glue and place it in the center. There you go. So there you go. So that's one of my centers. Now I can add few bits and pieces here as well. So let's do the second one. Okay, so this is my brad, which I have had for years and years and years, and it's always nice to sort of go through your old stash in order to discover something interesting. So this is the perfect moment, and we're just going to pop this nice large silver flower, which is the center of my flower, and add it to the mix. So if I wanted to make a floral arrangement with exactly the same colors that I've chosen for my arrangement, like you can see here, so obviously it would be nice to have a different center for this mini little gardenia. And of course we can use a silver, we can use a bead, we can use all sorts of things, but we can also use a pearl. So I'm going to find some larger pearl in my stash, and we're just going to apply glue. So the reason why I'm going for the pearl option is because something else can be done with a beautiful silver center, and that's this one. And obviously these three already are looking beautiful, but I want to add a little pearl in the center of my metallic center, and I'm just going to add random blobs of glue. I'm just going to do this on my large one as well. And what I will do is add these beautiful pearls. They are self-adhesive, however, I will be securing them with extra glue, because just in case. Remember that for this particular flower I added the modeling paste, so obviously if your surface on your card isn't flat, then obviously the extra drop of glue definitely helps. There you go. So at this point you can still see a little bit of the PVA glue, but when it's dry, as you know, it will dry clear. So these are my blue pearly metallic gardenia flowers. And now we're getting into slightly different option. I've got this beautiful taupe version, stunning, I love it. So if you watch my last live video on YouTube, I used the dotty falls dies in this beautiful, stunning toffee kind of shade, and it's beautiful and it complements my taupe textured card beautifully. So what I'm going to do, I will simply use these and use these for my center of my gardenia. As they are falls, dotty falls, they will beautifully complement my my centers. Okay, so first of all, I'm just grabbing them together and obviously popping a little bit of glue. You need tweezers and we need to be fast and precise. There you go. We can always adjust the dotty falls a little bit, as you can see, a little bit to the side. But that's what we want to begin with. Now, on top of this, I will also use this beautiful pearly batten. It's really super raised, and this one will beautifully complement my gardenia flower and the color that I've chosen. Oh, I'm loving it. So these are all sorts of different battens, and now we're just going to adjust. There you go. As you can see, that's my gardenia. So prepared, ready for my next creation. Right, so we've got all of these centers here, and now we're just going to move on to another sort of more, not complicated version, but a little bit more creative is the word. Right, so we, as you know, a lot of you will know that we have loads of micro-beaded berries on our website, and the best color to have is the white version, because not only the white looks amazing in the center of the flowers, but also because we can change the color. And how do we change the color? Well, quite simply by using the sprays. So this is another color that I use from Inca Gold Waxes, and this is the champagne, I believe. So all you have to do is follow the instructions from one of my video tutorials. I will include the links in the description box below, as I mentioned earlier. And basically, just give yourself, obviously, I want to keep one berry white. So I'm just going to show you on one, because one is already done. And I'm simply showing you this version very quickly, because obviously I like to use 3 different centers. So you can see it's already yellow. So just keep spraying. Make sure the coverage is really good, and leave it to dry. Now, when it comes to these micro-beaded berries, we can't speed the process of drying by simply using the heat gun, because what's inside of our micro-beaded berries, it's like a polystyrene, so it's plastic. So if you're going to do that, obviously we're going to melt it. So we don't want that happening. So leave it to dry naturally, which is why I already have one pre-prepared. And I'm going to use that now. So literally chop off the end. And I'm going to start with the largest one. So this was my flower at that earlier stage. I'm adding my beautiful, beautiful yellow centers. And now I'm going to add, not the yellow version, yellow on yellow, but I'm just going to add my white micro-beaded berry, because the yellow version is going to go somewhere else. So there you go. That is going beautifully here. So this is what we have. Right. Now, I might as well stick this one inside of my daisy here. Well, I don't know what it is, but the smallest gardenia looks so much like a daisy. Well, I hope you agree with me. Okay, so this is the one, and I'm just going to squeeze it around my bead. There you go. So that's what I have at this point. And now on to the middle size. And this is my other center. Now, I do have a video based around creating these kind of centers. So I'm not going to show you, obviously, how I created this beaded center, but it's very easy, and you could literally click on that other video and you will be able to see so many different options and mediums that I used to create different centers. Okay, so this is another version, 3 different centers for my flowers, and I hope you like it. As always, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and then we're just going to move on to the last option. Now, so I'm just going to apply this simple but beautiful pearly flower inside of my smallest gardenia, and it's just like so. So really lovely. There you go. So that's beautiful. And now on to these 2 little beauties. Okay, how did I make these? Well, it's actually quite simple, but all you will need is a little bit of a natural fiber. So this beautiful natural product, and all I'm doing is just grabbing, and obviously it depends how big center you need. So, okay, so everything depends on your flower, of course, but it also depends on how tightly we're going to keep our fiber. And of course, I am now doing all of this squashing and rolling, and that's great. And it will stay within this size if we want to. However, one other thing you can do is add some PVA glue. Now, why would you add PVA to a natural fiber? Well, it's because the glue will actually structurize a fiber a little bit. So it will make more solid, less soft. So ultimately, you can sculpture your fiber, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. There you go. So we will leave it to dry. Obviously, any excess, any natural fiber that is a little bit stubborn and it wants to stick out, don't worry about it, because we can use a pair of scissors to literally trim it, and that can be that. Now, so our natural fiber is of the natural color. Again, how do we change the color of our natural fiber? Well, once again, I'm going to use the yellow spray, but of course any color spray will do the trick. And of course, if you're spraying things within one color, you can do a little bit of a production line. So once again, as you can imagine, this is a natural product that will need the drying time and allow it to dry. And of course, once it's dry, we have one center that is solid. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one with this size gardenia. So I'm already giving myself a little extra squeeze. A little bit of glue. And now let's just pop inside. Now with this kind of center, please hold still for a second or two longer, because obviously we're using very sort of natural material, number one, but it's not solid. So we have, even though I've structurized it a little bit with the glue, well, it's not a stone, it's not a brick, so obviously it's still on the soft side, and therefore we need to be a little bit more patient. But look at this. Isn't this looking beautiful? Interesting. Of course, you could add some glitter to it if you wanted to. You could do all sorts. These are just the bases, and this is a smaller version, and I'm using a smaller center for my larger gardenia simply because I have a smaller gardenia already inside, so I need a smaller center. And that's it. So this one, I left it natural. And once again, let me show you 3 different centers. These two, in theory, are the same. Both of them natural fiber, structurized slightly, but in different colors, and a little pearl. So these are my gardenia flowers. I hope that you enjoyed my video tutorial, and as always, if you did, please leave a comment, like, and of course subscribe, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye bye for now. Take care. Bye.